The sun was low behind the strange purple clouds, casting a dim green glow over the swamp. The air was heavy and thick with a smell that burned the nose. The ground squished beneath Tyler's boots as he moved carefully across the edge of the marsh. This planet, called Xylan 3 by the scientists, was full of danger. It had plants that spat acid and creatures that vanished in the mist. But it also had resources that Earth needed badly. Tyler was a scout. His job was to explore the wild places and bring back samples. He was used to silence and strange noises in these parts, but today something felt off. As he walked near a bubbling pool, he heard something soft, weak, almost like a whisper. He froze. It came again. Help. Tyler turned quickly, his eyes scanning the fog. He stepped closer to the edge of the dark green water. It was the toxic swamp zone. No one was supposed to go near it without full protection. Even his reinforced suit could only last a few minutes here. "Hello!" He called out. There was a splash, and then he saw her, a figure, half submerged, barely holding onto a thick root sticking out of the swamp. Her skin was a pale blue, her long hair wet and tangled. She looked too weak to move. Eyes glowing dimly like moonlight, Tyler didn't think twice. He dropped his scanner, ran down the slope, and waded into the swamp. "Hold on," he shouted. The toxic water hissed as it touched his boots. His warning system lit up red. His suit would melt in less than 5 minutes. He didn't care. He reached her, wrapped his arms under her shoulders, and began to pull. She was light but limp. His gloves started to steam. The air stung his throat even through the filters, step by step. He dragged her out. When they reached solid ground, he fell to his knees beside her. She wasn't moving. "Hey, stay with me," he said, shaking her gently. Her lips parted. "Eight," whispered something in a strange language Tyler didn't understand. But he caught the fear in her eyes. "You're safe now," he said softly. He pressed the emergency beacon on his wrist. Within minutes, a medical drone zipped down from the sky, scanning the area. Tyler lifted the alien woman carefully, placed her on the drone's stretcher, and followed as it carried her back to base. The human outpost was small, just a few metal buildings surrounded by fences and watchtowers. The medic team looked shocked when they saw what Tyler brought back. "You pulled her out of the swamp?" one asked. "Yeah," Tyler replied, coughing. "She was drowning." "Your suits?" "Half-eaten," another said. "You're lucky to be alive." Tyler didn't care. He stood by as they cleaned her skin, removed the toxic slime, and placed her in a sterile chamber. Her breathing was shallow, but steady. "Who is she?" the commander asked later. "No idea," Tyler said, sitting with a blanket around his shoulders. "She didn't say, this could be dangerous, right? We don't know what species she is." "I wasn't going to let her die," Tyler answered simply. The commander didn't argue. He just nodded and walked away. That night, Tyler couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about her face. Her eyes didn't look wild or hostile. They looked scared, lost, like someone who didn't belong here. Early in the morning, he went to the med bay. She was awake. She sat up slowly, eyes blinking. At the ceiling, when she saw Tyler, her body tensed. But she didn't move away. "Hey," Tyler said gently. "You're okay?" She looked at him, then down at the blanket wrapped around her. She seemed confused. "Do you remember anything?" asked. She didn't reply. Instead, she pointed at herself and said one word, softly. "Sira. Sira." Tyler repeated, "That's your name." She nodded. He smiled. "I'm Tyler." She tilted her head, then slowly said, "Tyler." He laughed a little. "Close. Enough." He reached for a protein bar and offered it to her. She took it slowly, smelled it, and then bit it. Her face lit up in surprise. Tyler chuckled again. "Yeah, not bad, huh?" Over the next few hours, she began to move more. She didn't speak much, but she watched everything. When Tyler brought her water, she touched the glass like it was strange. When he showed her a small light on his wrist, she gasped quietly and traced its glow. "Where are you from?" Tyler asked. Sir looked at the sky through the window, then turned her eyes back to him. She said nothing. Outside, something strange began to happen. The sensors on the edge of the swamp began to flicker. Energy levels rose slightly, then returned to normal. The science team blamed it on the usual planet interference, but Tyler wasn't so sure. He looked at Sira, now asleep in the medical chamber, her chest rising and falling peacefully. There was something about her. He had seen many alien species before, traders, workers, travelers, but none of them were like her. She had no gear, no weapons, no translator, nothing. And yet, she had survived the swamp at least for a while. Tyler leaned back in the chair beside her and whispered to himself, "Who are you really?" He didn't know that his question would soon have an answer, and when it did, everything would change. The next morning, Tyler woke up in the medbay chair, his neck sore from sleeping in an awkward position. He looked over and saw Sira still resting inside the glass chamber. Her breathing was steady. The color in her skin had returned. Less pale now, more like a soft, glowing blue. A nurse entered and quietly checked her vitals. "She's stable," she said. "Surprisingly fast healing, too." "She's not like anything in our files," Tyler replied. The nurse nodded. "Not even close." After breakfast, Tyler went to see the science officer, Commander Lewis. The man was frowning at the scans from the swamp. "I know you saved her," Lewis said, not looking up. "But this is serious. Energy spikes started. Right after you brought her in? You think it's connected to her? You tell me?" She appeared from the middle of a toxic death trap. No protective suit, nothing. She should have died in minutes. Maybe she's immune to the toxins. "Maybe," Lewis said, leaning back. "But something doesn't add up." Tyler didn't argue. His mind was already full of questions. He left the lab and returned to the medbay. This time, Sira was sitting up, watching the birds fly outside the window. When she saw Tyler, her eyes brightened a little. He waved. "You feeling better?" She nodded slowly. "Yes." Her voice was soft, unsure, but clearer than before. He sat beside the chamber and smiled. "Do you remember how you ended up in the swamp?" She looked down. "I was running." "From what?" She shook her head. "Bad people, do they know you're here?" Sira didn't answer. Tyler leaned forward. "Sira, if someone's looking for you, we need to be ready. We can protect you, but we need to know the truth." She stared at him for a moment, then looked away. "Can I trust you?" she asked softly. "Pulled you out of that poison pond, didn't I?" he said with a small smile. After a long pause, she gave a small nod. "I am not like others," she began. "My people, they are gone. Long ago, hunters came. They destroyed my home. I ran. I hid in many places. This swamp was my last." Tyler's eyes narrowed. "What kind of hunters? They steal power? They take what is not theirs? They destroy everything." Tyler stood up. "Does our outpost know you're here?" "They will," she said. "If they scan for energy?" Tyler blinked. "What do you mean?" She reached out, placed a hand on the glass wall, and whispered something in her own language. The glass lit up in soft blue lines, forming patterns like stars. "I am Guardian," she said. "It's not just person I carry. Old spark. Planet chose me." Tyler stepped back. "Okay, that's a lot." Before he could ask more, an alarm sounded. Red lights flashed outside the medbay. He rushed out, nearly bumping into Commander Lewis. "What's happening?" Tyler asked. "We got a ship in low orbit," Lewis said, voice tight. "Not human, not on the Alliance list either." Tyler's stomach sank. "You think they're here for her? If she really is some ancient guardian? Yeah, maybe." Within an hour, the ship sent down probes. Small round drones hovered around the swamp, scanning the ground, clicking and buzzing in strange rhythms. One of the probes came close to the outpost fence. It didn't attack it, just floated there, silent and watching. "Sarah refused to leave the medbay. They are looking for me," she said. "We won't hand you over," Tyler promised. "You don't understand," she whispered. "They don't just want me. They want the heart." "What heart?" "The core. The power inside this world, hidden far below. They cannot reach it without me." Tyler looked at her, trying to stay calm. So, if they get you, they take everything. Commander Lewis didn't like the idea of keeping her there. We don't know what she really is, he said to Tyler. You trust her too fast. She trusts me too. That should mean something, Lewis sighed. Fine, but keep her away from the fence. And if those probes move again, we shoot. That. Night Tyler sat near Sira again. She was quieter now, her eyes closed. What do they call you? She asked suddenly. My name? She nodded. Tyler Grant. She repeated it slowly. Tyler Grant. He smiled. Yours is easy, Sira. She tilted her head. Do you always save strangers? He shrugged. Only when they look like they need help. You should have left me. Swamp would have hidden me and let you die. Yes, he frowned. Why would you say that? Because now you are in danger too. He leaned closer. Maybe, but if you were the last of your kind, and they're trying to erase everything you stand for, I think you're worth the risk. She looked at him for a long time. Then slowly, she smiled. It was small, but it was real. For the first time since she arrived, her guard dropped. Just before midnight, one of the guards at the outpost spotted movement near the swamp line. Commander, we have figures on foot, he reported. Show me. The cameras zoomed in. 3 tall shapes walked slowly through the fog. Their bodies were thin with armor that shimmered like oil. They didn't carry weapons, but their eyes glowed red. Tyler stared at the screen. Those are the hunters, aren't they? Sira stepped behind him. Yes. The figures stopped at the edge of the fence. One raised its arm and pointed directly. Toward the camera then, without a sound, they vanished. Lewis turned toward Tyler. We need a plan, Sira spoke quietly. If you want to live, we must go underground. Tyler looked at her. Underground. To the place where the spark sleeps, she said. Where the true heart of this world hides. He nodded slowly. Then take us there. And so, before the next sunrise, Tyler, Sira, and a small team left the outpost. They didn't know what waited below. But whatever it was humanity's only hope. The sky above the swamp turned gray as thick clouds rolled in. The team moved quickly, following Sira through the wild jungle. Tyler led the group beside her, his hand gripping his blaster just in case. Behind them, Commander Lewis and 2 other soldiers watched the trees and shadows. They had no idea what they were walking into. But they all knew they couldn't stay at the outpost any longer. Sira walked with purpose. Her bare feet touched the moss without making a sound. Even though she had just recovered, she looked calm and sure of every step. How far is this place? Tyler asked, brushing away a thick vine. Not far, she said quietly. Just beyond the stone path. Stone path? Lewis asked. Old trail? My people built it? Before everything? After an hour, they reached a cliffside hidden behind a wall of giant ferns. Sira moved her hand slowly across a large rock covered in strange symbols. A pulse of blue light shimmered, and the stone slid open with a soft hum, revealing a dark tunnel. After you, Tyler said, motioning with a half-dashed smile. Sira stepped in first. The tunnel was narrow but smooth, the walls glowing with faint lines. Of light, the deeper they went, the cooler the air became. It was silent except for their footsteps and the quiet humming from the walls. This is old tech, Lewis whispered, ancient, maybe even older than the Alliance. It is, Sira said. My people called it the root chamber. It holds the heart of the planet. What exactly is this heart? Tyler asked. Energy, memory, power. The planet stores it deep underground. If it falls into the wrong hands... She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't have to. They reached a wide open space lit by glowing crystals. It was a dome-like room with a high ceiling and pillars circling the center. In the middle stood a tall structure, like a tree made of glass and metal, its core pulsing softly with blue and green light. Sira walked toward it and placed her hand on the surface. The structure responded, glowing brighter. What is she doing? Lewis asked. Activating it, Tyler answered, not taking his eyes off her. The ground shook slightly. Lines of light spread from the tree, crawling across the floor and walls like veins. A deep hum filled the chamber. "It knows me," Sira said softly. "It remembers my blood. And now?" Tyler asked. "Now, it will help us fight." Back on the surface, the hunters reached the outpost. The few soldiers left behind tried to defend it, but they didn't stand a chance. The hunters didn't use normal weapons. They moved like shadows, silent and deadly. Within minutes, the outpost was overrun. One of the hunters found a data tablet. It showed a map, and on that map was a blinking marker tracking Tyler's team. The leader of the hunters tilted his head. Then he pointed toward the jungle. They knew where to go. Underground, the ancient chamber had fully awakened. The glowing, tree-like structure now revealed hidden doors. Sira walked through one and found a circular room filled with strange objects, floating stones, symbols, old metal armor, and a console in the center. "What is this?" Lewis asked. "The vault," Sarah replied. "It holds keys, weapons, shields, everything my people left behind." Tyler stepped toward the console. "Can we use this stuff?" "Some of it," she said. "But the spark chooses." "Chooses?" Lewis asked. "Only those who carry truth can use these tools." Tyler walked closer to a large shield-like disc floating in the air. As he reached out, the disc glowed and floated gently into his hand. "What does that mean?" he asked. "It chose you," Sira said. "Lucky me." Lewis tried to touch a strange weapon nearby, but nothing happened. No glow, no sound. Maybe. "I'm not chosen," he said, sounding annoyed. "It's not about strength," Sarah said. "It's about heart." Tyler turned toward her. "Can we protect this place if they come?" "Yes," she nodded. "But we must be ready." Hours passed. The team studied the chamber, learning as much as they could. Tyler practiced with the shield. It moved like a living thing, floating when he tossed it and returning to his hand. Sira showed him how to channel energy through it. Meanwhile, Lewis checked the sensors on his device. "They're coming," he said. "For life forms fast, 2 clicks away." "They found us," Tyler muttered. "Then we stand," Sira said. Stepping forward, her eyes glowed with light now. Her skin shimmered faintly. "I will not run again." Tyler stood beside her. "Neither will we." Lewis gave the 2 soldiers their weapons and set up small turrets at the entrance of the tunnel. It wasn't much, but it was all they had. Soon, the chamber was silent again, waiting. The first hunter appeared like a shadow, slipping through the tunnel silently. The turret fired, but the hunter dodged and sliced it in half with a glowing blade. "They're fast," one soldier shouted. "Hold your fire," Lewis ordered. "Wait until you see them." 2 more hunters followed, moving like ghosts. Tyler raised his shield just in time. The hunter's blade struck at Tan, bounced back. The shield shimmered, absorbing the impact. Tyler pushed forward, slamming the hunter back. Sira lifted her hands and sent a wave of energy that lit up the room. The hunters hissed and stumbled. Lewis and the others fired. It was a wild fight light, shadows, blasts, and screams. Sira stood in the middle, her energy shining brighter with every second. She protected them, but it was clear she couldn't. "Hold it forever. We need to end this," Tyler shouted. "The core," Sira said. "Bring them close." Tyler ran toward the center. The hunters followed him, focused on the shield and its power. Sira raised her hands. The tree-like structure responded. A beam. A pure blue light shot out from the top and struck the floor. The hunters screamed as the ground beneath them glowed. They turned to run, but it was too late. The chamber sealed them in a cage of light, and then silence. The light faded. The hunters were gone. Sira fell to her knees, breathing hard. Tyler caught her. "Are you okay?" "I used too much, but we're safe for now." Lewis stepped forward, his face pale. What was that?" "Defense system," she whispered. "Used only once. Long ago." Tyler looked around. "We need to be ready. They'll send more." Sira nodded. "Then we prepare." As the chamber dimmed, Tyler held her close. He didn't know everything about her, but he knew one thing. They had just survived something terrible. And worse was coming. The chamber was quiet again. Only the soft hum of the ancient tree-like core filled the space. Tyler helped Sira sit near one of the glowing pillars. Her energy had dimmed. Her breath was slow but steady. Commander Lewis scanned the area and checked the sensors. No more signs of movement. For now, Tyler sat beside Sira. "You saved us." She shook her head weakly. "We saved each other." The two other soldiers guarded the entrance of the tunnel, while Tyler, Lewis, and Sira took a moment to recover. Around them, strange devices floated in the air, tools and weapons left behind by Sira's people. Each object held power, but only some responded to human touch. "We need a plan," Lewis said, pacing. That wasn't their full force. It was a scouting group. "They will return," Sira said, her voice low. "They always do." "What do they want so badly?" one of the soldiers asked. Sira looked up at the glowing tree. "They want the spark. This core holds knowledge, energy, life. In their hands it will become a weapon." Tyler frowned. "Can't we just destroy it?" Sira shook her head. "The spark is part of the planet. Destroy it, and the planet dies." "If they get it?" Lewis asked. Every system nearby could fall. The room fell silent. Finally, Tyler stood. "And we protect it. Simple as that." Lewis sighed. "Simple, huh? You fought worse with less." Sira smiled slightly. "Humans are strange." Tyler chuckled. "Not the first." To say that, later that day, the group began exploring the lower parts of the chamber. More tunnels branched out beneath the core, filled with glowing runes and floating stones. One tunnel led to a control room walls full of shifting lights and symbols. "Can we use this tech to call for help?" Lewis asked, examining the panel. Sira stepped forward and placed her hand on it. The lights changed shape. Soft voice spoke in a forgotten language. "It says yes," Sira translated. "But only from here," Great Lewis said. "Then let's send a message." They worked together for hours. Sira showed them how to power the communication crystal, while Lewis adjusted his scanner to match the human signal range. Finally, they sent a message into space. "Emergency. Alien force invading Zillan 3. Ancient core must be protected. Repeat, send reinforcements." "Repeat. Send reinforcements." They waited and watched. That night, Tyler stood alone. Outside the main chamber, crystals above gave off soft light, like stars in a quiet sky. He looked up, thinking about Earth, about home. Sira walked up beside him. "You miss it?" "Sometimes," he said, "but I'm used to being out. Here, you are brave." He smiled. "I don't feel brave. You came into the swamp for me." "Yeah, well, you were glowing. Kinda hard to ignore." She laughed softly, then looked serious. "You risked your life for a stranger? You're not a stranger anymore?" Her eyes met his. There was something deep in her gaze, something older than words. "My people used to believe that those who saved others shared a thread, like light connecting hearts." Tyler looked at her for a moment. "Then maybe that thread brought us here." They stood in silence, feeling something shift between them. Not just friendship, something more, but neither spoke it. Not yet. The next morning, Lewis woke the group. Early, his scanner buzzed non-stop. "We got a problem," he said. "Ships, 5 of them. Entering orbit? The hunters?" R asked. "Has to be?" Sira's expression darkened. "They are sending a war group. To take the spark by force." Lewis cursed under his breath. "We don't have the numbers to fight ships." "Don't need to," Sira said. "We just need to hold them off, long enough for help to arrive." Help arrives. 1. Soldier muttered. "It will," Tyler said firmly. "They'll hear us." Lewis nodded. "We start building defenses. This place is now a war zone." The team worked non-stop. Turrets were set up at tunnel entrances. Traps were placed inside. Paths. Sira activated old defense drones, hidden in the walls, small round machines that hovered and sparked with light. Tyler trained with the shield, moved faster now, almost reading his thoughts. It wasn't just a tool, it was alive, protected. Him with every move. What Sira helped the others understand the ancient systems. Some doors responded to her alone. Some tools only worked when she gave a command. This planet trusts you, Tyler said as they worked side by side. And now it trusts you too, she replied. They shared a quiet look. Then the alarm sounded. Ships were entering the atmosphere. The chamber shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Lights flickered. They're landing close, Lewis said, looking at the screen. About half a mile north. They'll reach us in under an hour, a soldier added. Datsara placed her hand on the control pillar. The entire chamber lit up, pulsing with blue light. I will hold the core, she said. They cannot pass through me. You're not doing this alone, Tyler said quickly. She looked at him with soft eyes. I never thought I would have help again. You do? Now, then let us stand together. Lewis gave orders. Everyone to positions. We hold the line. No matter what, they took their places. Rifles ready, shields up, traps armed. The earth above them rumbled as footsteps approached, and as the first hunter stepped into the shadows of the tunnel, Tyler raised his shield and said quietly, Let's show them what happens when they push too far. The first hunter stepped into the outer tunnel, its body tall and covered in black armor that shimmered like moving shadows. Behind it, more shapes followed, quiet and deadly. They didn't speak, they didn't hesitate. Their red eyes glowed. In the dark, focused only on one Gultha spark hidden deep within the chamber, Tyler stood at the front line, gripping his shield. Beside him were Lewis, 2 soldiers, and a line of drones floating above the floor, ready to defend. Sira stood at the core, her hands on the glowing tree-like structure, filling it with her energy. The first clash came fast. A hunter leaped forward, swinging a long glowing blade. Tyler raised his shield and it lit up with blue energy. The impact knocked him back, but he held his ground. Sparks flew. The shield pushed the hunter away. Fall back to the second line, Lewis shouted. The team moved quickly through the tunnels, guiding the hunters into traps. Hidden charges exploded, dropping 2 of the attackers. The defense drones fired beams of light, slowing others. But the hunters didn't stop. They kept coming, crawling. Through smoke and fire like machines that couldn't feel pain, Tyler's heart pounded. He fought hard, blocking, dodging, striking. The shield felt alive in his hand, guiding his movements. Every time a hunter got too close, the shield lit up and protected him. How many are there? A soldier shouted. Too many. Back.Sira sent a pulse of energy through the ground. Blue light shot down the tunnel, throwing several hunters into the walls. Her eyes glowed brighter now. The spark inside her was fully awake. They are reaching the final gate. She called out, We need to hold them here, Tyler said, breathing hard. He looked around. The walls were cracked. The floor burned in places. The ancient chamber was strong, but it couldn't take this forever. Lewis tapped his wrist. Any response to our message? Nothing yet, a soldier said. No ships, no signals. Then we fight to the last, Lewis said calmly. The hunters charged again. Tyler threw his shield like a disket, spun through the air, hitting 3 enemies before flying back to him. He caught it and ducked as another attacker swung at him. You okay? Sira asked from behind. Still breathing, Tyler said, smiling through the dirt and sweat. They want the core, she said. I can overload it. Send a shockwave. What does that mean? It will stop them? But it will drain me. No, there has to be another way. I am the key, Sira said. I burn. The door stays shut. I'm not letting you. Burn, Tyler said firmly. But the ground shook again. A massive hunter, twice the size of the others, stepped into view. Its armor was silver black. Its hands crackled with red energy. It let out a sound like thunder. That's their leader, Lewis said. This just got worse. The large hunter charged. The force of its step cracked the floor. Tyler ran forward. Keep it away from Sira. He jumped in front, blocking the hunter's attack. The hit sent him flying back, smashing into a pillar. Pain shot through his side, but he stood up again. Sira raised her hands. Core defend. The glowing tree responded. Lines of energy flowed from it, creating a dome around the center of the chamber. It pushed the hunters back. Some screamed and vanished. Others fell, but the leader hunter didn't stop. It slammed into the barrier again and again. Cracks began to form. "I have to release the surge," Sira said. "There's no time."
Oh, yeah.
Tyler limped toward her. "You don't have to do it alone." He stepped inside the dome beside her. "What are you doing?" she asked. "Sharing the burn," he said, placing his hand on hers. For a second, nothing happened. Then the core responded. A surge of light burst from the center, shooting up like a pillar into the sky. It exploded outward, rushing through the ground, the tunnels, the swamp above. The entire planet shook outside. The ships above the surface lost power. Lights went out. Engines failed. The hunters froze, their red eyes blinking. Then, turning dark, the great hunter roared one last time before collapsing. Silence fell. Inside the chamber, Tyler dropped to his knees. His body felt like it was on fire. Sira fell beside him. Her glow dimmed. "You okay?" He whispered yes. She said weakly, I've been better." Lewis and the others slowly stood, looking around. "They're gone," Lewis said. "You two did it." Tyler looked at Sira, who was barely conscious. "She saved us." Again. Lewis helped. "Him up. You both did." Hours passed. The team worked to repair the damaged systems. Sensors were restored. Defense walls recharged. The chamber was safe again for now. Sira rested near the core, her body recovering slowly. Tyler sat beside her, his hand in hers. "You didn't have to help," she whispered. "Yes, I did." "You could have died." "So could you." She smiled weakly. "You are more than brave. You're more than a guardian," he replied. They looked at each other, tired but alive. Something deeper now connected them. Not just survival, not just duty. Something real. Lewis approached. "We got a reply. The Lion's ship is on the way." They heard our call. "How long?" Tyler asked. "A day? Maybe less." "We'll be ready." As the light of the core pulsed quietly again, Tyler looked around at the chamber, at the team, at Sira. They had risked everything, and in that risk, they found something worth protecting. Not just a planet, but each other. The chamber was calm now. No alarms, no enemies. Just the soft hum of the ancient core, glowing gently at the center. The battle was over, but the aftershock remained in everyone's bones. Tyler sat beside Sira, watching her sleep. Her breathing was steady, and her color had returned, but she was still weak from the energy surge. Tyler's body ached. Bruises covered his arms and back, and his head throbbed. Still, he didn't care about the pain. Kept thinking about the moment they stood together inside the glowing dome, risking their lives to protect something much bigger than themselves. "Commander." Lewis entered quietly and gave Tyler a quick nod. "We've cleared the tunnels. All systems are stable. No sign of any more hunters." Tyler nodded. "Good. How is she?" "She'll be okay. Just needs rest."
"You'll do,"
Lewis said, lowering his voice. "You two saved this place. Whatever this planet holds, it's still alive because of you." Tyler looked down at Sira. "I didn't even know her name a few days ago." Lewis gave a small smile. "And now you've fought side by side in a war. Funny how fast." "Things change," Tyler said softly. Lewis turned to leave. "The Alliance ship will arrive in 6 hours. They bring in medics, scientists, and a full team to secure the core." "What will they do with her?" Tyler asked. Lewis paused. "I don't know, but I'll make sure they hear everything." From us first. The sun was rising above the swamp when Sira finally opened her eyes. The soft golden light from above reached down through the cracks in the cave ceiling, warming the floor. Tyler was still beside her, holding a cup of water. She blinked slowly. "You stayed." "Of course I did." She sat up slowly, her body stiff. "Did we win?" "Yes. The hunters are gone. For now." She looked toward the glowing tree-like structure. "It's still alive." "Because of you," he said. "Because of us." He smiled. "How are you feeling?" "Tired," she admitted, "but safe." He handed her the water. She drank slowly, then leaned against the pillar. "When I fell into that swamp," she said, "I thought it was the end. I thought no one would find me." "You weren't alone," Tyler said. "Not anymore. You were the only one who saw me." "Maybe the swamp wanted me to." She laughed gently. "Or maybe the planet chose you too." They sat in silence for a while, listening to the soft sounds of the cave. As the Alliance ship entered the atmosphere, everyone at the chamber stood ready. A wide beam of light broke through the clouds as the transport lowered. The soldiers and scientists aboard wore white suits with blue symbols, each step calm and careful. Commander Lewis walked out to greet them. "This site is secure. We need to protect what's down here, not take it." The lead officer nodded. "Ow!" "Our orders are to study and report. Nothing more." Tyler stayed near Sira as the crew examined the area. The scientists scanned the core, their eyes full of wonder. Some of them tried to interact with it, but nothing happened. "It doesn't respond to us," like one of them said. "Of course it doesn't," Tyler muttered. Stepped forward. "It knows who it belongs to." One scientist looked confused. "Are you the key?" She nodded. "I carry the spark. I am part of this world." They asked many questions, but Sira answered only the ones that mattered. She told them about the hunters, the ancient system, and the danger it held if used the wrong way. Tyler stayed close, ready to speak if anyone doubted her. The lead officer finally turned to Tyler. "And you? What's your connection to this?" "I was just a scout," he said. "Then I became a witness. Now I'm something else." "Helped her?" "She helped me too." The officer looked at Sira, then nodded. "We'll send word to the council. No action will be taken without your input." By nightfall, the Alliance crew had set up a small research camp near the chamber. Guards patrolled the area, and medics treated the wounded, but the core remained untouched. Only Sarah could speak to it, and only Tyler could stand beside her. When she did, they walked through the glowing hallways together, quiet and peaceful. "What happens now?" Tyler asked. "This place must be protected. It is sacred. It holds more than power. It holds memory. Will you stay here?" "Yes. It is my home," he nodded. "I figured you'd say that." She looked at him carefully. "And what about you?" He didn't answer right away. "I was just supposed to collect samples," he said. "But now I feel like I belong here." "You do," she said gently. "I've seen a lot of places, fought through a lot of missions, but nothing felt right. Until this." She smiled. "Then stay." He looked into her eyes. "Are you asking me?" "Not just asking," she whispered. "I'm hoping." Tyler stepped closer. "Then yes, I'll stay." They stood there, surrounded by light and silence, connected not by war, not by duty, but by something far deeper: trust, courage, and the thread that tied them from the moment. He pulled her out of the swamp. Weeks passed. The hunters never returned. The core remained stable. The Alliance sent researchers, but Sira remained its guardian, and Tyler its protector. The two of them spent each day learning from the ancient systems, teaching others how to respect the planet and its secrets. More than once, visitors asked how the human and alien worked so closely. Tyler would smile and say, "We started with a rescue, but it turned into something much more." And every time Sira looked at him, her eyes full of quiet light, it was clear he had saved her life, and she had changed his forever.